Episode 530. Neither of the two great masters could hold the upper hand for long. They constantly switched between offense and defense, locked in a perfect stalemate. Both characters' health bars were dropping in perfect sync. It looked like the winner wouldn't be decided until the very last moment.
Wang Jishi probably has the edge.
Yi Shu suddenly made a prediction.
Why?
Chen Guo quickly asked.
This kind of balanced situation is exactly what Wang Jishi excels at. Huang Shaotian's specialty is winning through chaos. The more chaotic things get, the easier it is for him to find an opening. It's intense, sure, but there's no chaos to it at all. It's all very standard, this back and forth, the exchange of offense and defense. In other words, if things keep going like this, Huang Shaotian won't get a single opening to seize a decisive victory. The flow of the match is just a smooth transition. Judging by their attack and defense rhythm, the final blow will likely land right when Wang Jishi seizes the offensive opportunity.
Really?
Chen Guo liked to ask questions, but she was never quite sure of the answers. And so, in Chen Guo's eyes, the technical skill of their exchange suddenly plummeted. She started counting. That one was Huang Shaotian on the attack. The next was Huang Jishi. And the one after that, who was it? The match finally drew to a close as they counted, both sides now in the red. Chen Guo had been counting for a while now, and she'd started to get the hang of it. She took one look at the situation and gasped.
It really does seem to be just as you said.
Meanwhile, Ye Shu remained silent, his focus locked on the match.
Huang Shaotian doesn't have any way to deal with this?
Chen Guo asked, watching as the situation steadily marched toward defeat, a development she found utterly baffling.
There is...
What is it?
Look.
Yi Shu, however, looked up at the screen and gestured for Chen Guo to do the same. Chen Guo, who had been counting for ages, took one look at the situation on the field and immediately spotted the anomaly.
That's not right. Huang Shaotian should have seized the attack opportunity by now. How come?
She muttered to herself, then exclaimed excitedly.
Right. He deliberately let Wang Jishi have a turn to attack. That way, the final blow would be his.
Chen Guo's excitement lasted all of 3 seconds as she caught the look of utter disdain in Ye Shu's eyes. Then it hit him. Both sides had a finite number of lives. By giving up an opening, he'd broken the smooth back-and-forth rhythm. If they continued trading blows, Huang Shaotian would still be the first to fall, because he'd already lost one more life.
Huang Shaotian just wanted to disrupt that smooth, predictable flow. He deliberately put himself at a disadvantage.
Yi Shu finally offered an explanation.
A disadvantage is an opportunity?
Well, compared to just continuing like that, there's still a sliver of hope. Of course, the odds aren't great either. I still favor Wang Jishi. He's well aware of Huang Shaotian's intentions. To orchestrate a situation like this, I believe he has a way to counter Huang Shaotian and prevent him from finding that one-shot kill opportunity.
If Wang Jiexi wins this match, Tiny Herb will have 4 points, and Blue Rain will still only have 1.
Chen Guo was counting again, and at that moment the two magnificent characters for glory burst onto the projection screen. It wasn't just Chen Guo and Ye Shu. The players watching the tiebreaker match all seemed to let out a collective sigh of relief as this nail-biting contest had finally reached its conclusion. Even for a viewer with no emotional stake in the outcome, a match this thrilling delivers immense satisfaction. The players who had just watched that match were still savoring it, completely forgetting about Excellent Era's ongoing game right in front of them.
You called it.
Watching the match replay and listening to the post-game analysis, Chen Guo said this to Ye Shu. Ye Shu gave a slight nod, offering no further comment. He'd already said everything he needed to say. The match's final trajectory was Huang Shaotian deliberately giving up the chance to attack, breaking the stalemate in hopes of seizing victory. Wang Jishi, however, seized the momentum and took complete control of the match. From that point on, he left no opening for Huang Shaotian to land a decisive finishing blow. Huang Shaotian had no choice but to go all out, trying to create an opening where none existed. But this was hardly his forte, especially against an opponent like Wang Jishi, whose skill was on par with his own. In the end, he was defeated, and rather regrettably so. So far, Team Tiny Herb had secured 4 points from the 2 rounds of clashes, while Blue Rain had only managed 1. The upcoming team competition, however, carried a full 5-point value. In the regular season, only points count, not wins and losses. So while Blue Rain only managed a disappointing single point, that's already in the past. The team battle will be a fresh start, and those 5 points are still very much up for grabs. However, consecutive point losses inevitably take a toll on morale. The mood among Blue Rain's supporters was also deeply somber. The break after the individual competition was a long one. After all, the players for the team battle were often the same 6 from the solo and individual matches, and they could compete again, so they were given some time to rest. Seizing the opportunity, Ye Shu took a stroll and lit up a cigarette. It was also around this time that Chen Guo checked in with the internet cafe to confirm the damages from the night's commotion. As the two of them returned, the broadcast was filled with the host and guest commentators' endless chatter, dissecting the fierce battle between Huang Shaotian and Wang Jishi. But having heard Yi Shu's simple analysis, Chen Guo found the two commentators utterly unimpressive. They just kept talking in circles, never hitting the mark, making her seriously suspect they were just playing some kind of rhetorical game. After a brief wait, the team competition finally began. The previous match had been so spectacular that, once the team battle began, some of the players who were watching the overtime games couldn't help but steal glances at the main screen, their hearts torn in a difficult struggle of choice. As expected, the team battle lineup saw no major shakeups, just a collection of the players who had already fought in the earlier rounds. The only difference was on Blue Rain's side, where one player was swapped out, and Captain Yu Wenzhou finally made his personal appearance in the team competition. This was a standard move for Blue Rain. Yu Wenzhou's naturally low APM was a major liability in one-on-one duels, so the team rarely fielded him in the first 2 rounds. But in team battles, this tactical mastermind never missed a single one. In fact, he was always the primary target for the other teams to eliminate first. It really is that old saying, it brings joy and it brings worry,